pixels that we're bringing to the light. From maps to mods to the rigs we drive, we're talking to the folks who keep this farm life alive. It's Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Come pull up a chair and ride along with me. Stories from the makers, the builders of the scene. Farm Sim Talk, where we live the farming dream. He's got questions rolling like a big John Deere, digging deep with modders so their voices we can hear. From giants of the code to the artists painting skies, he's shining up their stories like a brand new combine. It's Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Come pull up a chair and ride along with me. Stories from the makers, the builders of the scene. Farm Sim Talk, where we live the farming dream. From tractors to textures, from silos to sounds, there's a whole crew of heroes making this world go round. So tune in and find out who's behind the screen. Farm Sim Talk's the place to see what farming really means. It's Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Come pull up a chair and ride along with me. Stories from the makers, the builders of the scene. Farm Sim Talk, where we live the farming dream.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Big Daddy Dave, and this is Farm Sim Talk, a show where we get to talk to other creators here in the Farm Sim community and find out a little bit more about them and who they are personally. So tonight, I am joined here by InsaneSimGuy. SimGuy, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Oh, doing absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for asking. So, how about you give us a brief introduction of who you are and what it is that you do here within the Farm Sim community?
Well, just basically just somebody just started playing Farm Sim one day, saw it go free on Epic, and I was like, you know what? Let me give that a shot. Back when I was working at GameStop as a manager, I was like, who the heck has time or would want to play this game? And then, I just picked it up as a free game. It's like, I was like, this is kind of addictive. I was like, this is ridiculous. And I was like, all right. And so after that, just been playing 19, 22, and now we're on 25. And
Wow.
back when I was playing 22, me and a bunch of guys, we were like, man, we're tired of these maps that everybody's putting out, tired of the game maps. I went to try to create one, and well, when you know it, the editor just said, nope, not today. So I had to wait till now to finally get a map working, get one put out. Decided to go ahead and start messing around with some of the like placeables and everything. Started working with some productions, got some of those modified. Got one live now, got another one that's in the queue. So that's where we are right now.
Excellent, excellent. I tell you what, that sounds scarily similar to my origin story here within the farm sim world. I think that is actually encapsulating of a lot of people's kind of whole introduction into the whole farm sim sphere. But tell you what, how where can everybody go and find you?
Let's see. You can find me on Facebook. Just look up Insane Sim Guy. Same thing, YouTube and Twitch. He does not have the YouTube link on there. I really haven't done much with that yet. I'm getting ready to start posting on there. Twitch, I'm just getting started. Just started up on the Facebook. Um, got the River Bend, the Aftermath on Mod Hub, along with Fish Food Factory Small. That's also up there as well.
Excellent, excellent. And do you want to give any shout outs before we get started?
Well, got my crew to help me test this mod. We got Cormac, the Junk Sim Guy. We got, what was it? Grumpy Gus the Grizzle, as he likes to be called, or he's in chat as Socially Inept Crown. What is that? Prince? That's what he's got on there. All right. We can roll with that. Then also got another one, Crazily Country. You can find him on YouTube. He's been streaming a lot of World of Tanks and other things. But yeah, he helped me test the map. Then all of the content creators out there that did the map tours, everything, yourself included, y'all did a fantastic job on that. And I want to give you, every one of y'all, a big thumbs up and thank you for the support.
Oh, no problem whatsoever. So before we move on, I want to give a few shout outs here because I see a whole bunch of you out in there in the chat. We've got Dust Bunny and we got Dead Calm. Muffa Puffa Throws. Interesting.
That would
name.
be a Moofa Poofa Throws.
Moofa Poofa.
She's been there. Yeah, she's been there with me throughout the whole entire process. You know what? Let me give her a shout out as well. She's the one that made my logo, and it was fantastic.
Definitely got to give that a shout out. Let's see who else we got here. We got Ken Adlam. We got Socially Inept Clown Prince. Oh, and gave a $5 super chat. Thank you so much for that. It says, thanks for featuring our boy here. He worked super hard on his map, and it was fun watching him build it. Oh, no problem whatsoever. Thank you so very much for that super chat. And again, thank you all so much for coming out here tonight. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. So without any further ado, how about we get into the first segment here? We call this one Digging Up Dirt. This is a segment where we get to know who you are outside of your content, who you are personally. So the first question I got for you is, do you have a job outside of, content creation, or is this your primary job?
No, I got a full-time job. I work in sales, do business-to-business sales, go around different stores, just handling all the products that my company deals with. Gotcha. Not really allowed to talk about what my products are.
No, that's totally fine. Totally fine. Yeah. So tell us, what kind of hobbies do you have outside of Farm Sim? Do you like to go hiking, fishing, watch sports?
Fishing, watch football, LSU, New Orleans Saints. Neither one of those had a great year this year. But hey, it is what it is. We're going to move on. Maybe next year it'll be a whole lot better. Hey. And of course, got to spend time with the kids.
Absolutely. Got to take it 1 year at a time when it comes to sports. I'm a big hockey fan myself, so it's been many, many rough years here the past little while for my team. It's been a while since they've done anything. But fishing, what kind of fishing do you like to do? Do you like to just do like freshwater, saltwater? What do you like?
Freshwater, catfish, bass, white perch, all that fun stuff.
Now, please tell me you're not one of those folks that likes to stick their hands in holes.
Oh, hell no.
Okay. Yeah, I love it. It's great.
Yeah, no.
Come back.
Absolutely not.
Oh, right? My goodness. I don't understand. Like, I think it's called noodling. Is that what it's called?
Something like that.
Something like that. I never understood, like, who in their right mind would go wading up, waist deep in water, find a hole and just stick a limb down there. I just, to this day, cannot understand it. Give me the boat, give me the pole, or give me the shore. We're fine. But no, I'm not going to use my body as part of the bait.
No. There's a lot of fish out there that got teeth, and you don't want nothing to do with that.
Well, even the ones without teeth. I live down here in Florida, and it's one of those, I'm not even going to walk into the water on a good day, let alone stick my hand down some holes underwater. You know, I'm not going to be gator food.
Oh, heck no.
Oh my goodness. But so you mentioned catfish. What other kind of fishing do you like?
Bass, white perch.
Gotcha,
Just
gotcha.
sit on the bank, throw a few lines out there, see what takes it. Cast, reel it in, see if anything hits. Try again.
So what kind of things do you like to cook up with with the fish you catch?
Oh, gotta have, gotta do all kinds of stuff. Down here we got something called catfish achafalaya, which is basically where you take fried catfish, put it over a bed of rice, and then cover it all with crawfish etouffee.
Oh, you're talking my language right now. Oh, I haven't had me a good etouffee in so long, so many years. Uh, I gotta get my hands on some.
I
But
cook it way too often.
sounds like I need to come over to your place.
You'll definitely leave not hungry. That's for sure.
Hey, you know what? That's a good way to leave home. So so football. What's your jam about football? What do you find so appealing about it?
Just watching somebody getting knocked clean out right there on the field.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right. That's my big thing with hockey is the hits. You know, open ice, you know, body on body. So let me ask you this. What are some of your well, actually let me backtrack just slight. Do you like to read, watch movies, TV?
Movies and TV more so than reading. You know,
Okay. What's
my kids they keep wanting to watch TV shows with subtitles. I was like, look, if I want to read, I'll grab a book. Come on, guys.
I can't blame you. Can't blame you for that whatsoever. What kind of movies are you into?
Anything sci-fi, fantasy, all that
Okay.
good stuff.
Anything in particular? Are you like a Star Wars, Star Trek fan or
You could about to say both.
nice,
I'm not
nice.
picky when it comes to that. I'll watch all the good stuff.
Okay. And what kind of television are you into?
Pretty much same thing.
Same thing.
All the
Uh
sci-fi stuff like that. Been watching Landman and uh, Tulsa King. Those are fantastic shows if you haven't seen them.
there was one here recently my wife and I have been rewatching called Firefly. Are you familiar with that one?
Oh, that is fantastic.
Uh
Ended way too soon.
way too soon. I don't know what it was, but we ended up just popping onto Hulu, and they just so happened to have it on the main page there. And it's like, you know what? Why not? So we started watching it again, and it had been probably years since I kicked it on. I don't know if you're as jaded as I am over the movie they made, but I'm still
Yep.
pretty sore about it.
Yeah.
It was one of those like big, middle finger to the fans. One of those
It
like,
absolutely was.
how dare you
Completely
make us
not necessary.
what kind of music are you into?
Everything. I'm not picky,
Gotcha.
but you throw me a little Weird Al and I'm happy.
Oh man, some Weird Al. It's been too long since I've listened to some good Weird Al. Um, oh man, probably the last one I listened to, and this was forever ago, was from that. I think it was like the Y2K album that he made. Or no. Um, it was the rap album that he made. The with the he had like the blue jumpsuit on the cover.
Yeah, where you did White and Nerdy and all that.
White and nerdy, and yeah, exactly. That was about the last I have really kind of chimed into him.
Yeah, if you
It's
want the
been
story of my life, go listen to that song.
same. So let me ask you this: what are some of the oddest or weirdest movies, books, or TV shows that you come across in your day?
That's a tough question to actually try and answer because that's the stuff I'm kind of into. The weirder, the more odd it is, the more I'm probably going to enjoy it. You
Gotcha.
give me some Mel Brooks, and I don't care which movie it is, I'm down.
Oh man, Mel Brooks. Again, you're speaking my language. Spaceballs. Now, oh, you
Yeah.
know what? Here's a good question for you. So you're familiar that they're making Spaceballs too?
Yes.
What is your 2 cents on that one? Are you excited for it? Are you kind
It
of...
is yes and no.
I'm
Number
right
one,
there.
leave well enough alone. Number two, kind of excited for it because they are bringing back a good chunk of the main cast from the original, and Mel Brooks is on board for directing and all of that. However, you can't replace John Candy,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what you try to do. Don't even attempt to do it. But I'm interested to see where it goes.
It's one of those that I'm very cautious about seeing it. It's one of those that I have zero faith in Hollywood nowadays, and
Yeah,
it's just one of those that I don't even know if I have the strength to even watch it, because it's one of those, like, I loved Spaceballs growing up. It was one of my favorites growing up, and I will be absolutely devastated if I go to watch that, Spaceballs 2, and they just make it into something that it's just wholly is not. Now, yes, Mel Brooks being involved, all the original actors like being involved, that's definitely a step in the right direction. But even with like all those things, it's like, I don't know. I'm really nervous. I'm worried about it.
yeah,
I'll
yeah. I agree.
definitely wait until I hear other people's opinions that I trust before I'm like, okay, let me commit to this.
I'm gonna go check it out opening day just because.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this: if you know modding and your content creation was no longer an option for you, let's say tomorrow your PC just boom blew up, and you didn't have the means to replace it or anything along those lines, what would you go do in its place?
Yeah, got my kids. We got a town here. Go out, go running around, find something to do. Go fishing, do whatever.
One of those go out and touch grass kind of moments.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. I hear you there. So, has it been a dream of yours to, make mods and create content, or is it just one of those that you feel like you just kind of fell into?
Uh, I've always been had a little hand in doing programming here and there, just a little touching up. Even back in high school, all the way till now, did a little bit of schooling. Started doing schooling for game programming, then got into the Unreal Engine and learned real quick. I was better at creating environments than I was programming all the other stuff.
Okay. Did
That's
you
kind of what led me to where I am.
you touched on the Unreal Engine? Did you like actually make anything with that to like full bore
We
or...
create no, not full bore. Just during schooling, just made a level to play through and things like that.
Okay. Let's see. And so you mentioned that you have kids. What kind of family dynamic do you have? Married kids?
I'm not married. Just got the two kids. Son lives with me. Daughter, she's grown. Got a child of her own. In fact, they were over here today. I made her wrap all the Christmas gifts because that's who they're all for is for her kids. So you know what? She can have all that.
I don't know if you're the same way, but I'm absolutely garbage at wrapping gifts. It's one of those
Oh
that
yeah,
I
no,
would just
it's
be better off just taking all my gifts to somebody and just paying them to do it, because by the time that I'm done with it, it just looks like you might as well just made a like a well, actually I probably shouldn't use that word here on the internet, but just basically just like the whole wrapping paper just exploded off of the gift kind of thing. It's not pretty whatsoever.
I mean, but the best way I wrap a gift is I'll just get a big old chunk of wrapping paper, set the gift on it, fold it up over the top, and just tie it off and call it a day.
Yes. There was one year I did that with my wife. I'd gotten so frustrated with this one gift in particular because it was just an odd shape. It wasn't like a square, box or anything like that. And by the end of it, I'm like, where is the ribbon? I'm just going to tie this thing off and be done with this. I was so, I don't think I've ever been so angry at a piece of paper before ever in my life. So, You mentioned that you got the two kids, one of them being grown, one of them living with you. So how do you create that balance between the work life, the home life, and the creator life?
Thankfully, I have a good job that's just 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and they give me tons of time off. So it makes everything just work out great. If you have the right job, everything just falls into place, and you can easily balance everything.
No, absolutely. No, that makes total sense too, because it starts with the ability to one to make the money, but are you able to then flex everything else around that position? So no,
Right.
that 100%. I understand that. So do you like to travel?
I like to just sometimes don't have the means to.
I can understand that. So let's say finances were not an issue. You had all the money in the world to be able to do whatever it was that you wanted. Where would be your dream destination be?
But everybody's got to go to Tokyo at least once.
Tokyo. That's an interesting. I was expecting like Aruba, some kind of island nation or something like that, but
Yeah.
Tokyo.
Yep.
Anything in particular with the
Got to go to
Tokyo
the
that
technology world, technology capital of the world. Come on.
Okay, so the white and nerdy is making more sense.
Absolutely.
I gotcha. Uh, out of curiosity, are you into like anime or anything like that?
Dabble here and there. I
Here
don't
and there.
like focus on anything.
Okay, I was just curious with the Tokyo connection if there was an even deeper connection beyond that, but just curious. So, what would you say inspires and motivates you in your day to day life?
Gotta uh, take care of the kids. You gotta make sure you can provide for them. Keep the lights on in the house. Keep food on the table. Make sure they got clothes on their back. Make sure everything that they need is taken care of.
100%, 100%. I don't know. I'm sure you had kind of the same revelation I did when I had kids. When you had kids, um, but it was just one of those things that the moment my eldest daughter was born, something just kind of clicked inside of me, and that's when I realized, okay, I have to be hyper focused on making sure that whatever this little girl needs in her life is at her fingertips, kind of thing. That she has the means to be able to to live day to day, to have food in her belly, clothes on her back, roof over her head, all that stuff. Like, I'm now responsible for this little girl that has no means to protect herself. And yeah, I'm sure that a lot of people out there know exactly what I'm talking about. Is that some kind of similar that you experience?
Yep. Yeah, you'll be amazed how quickly you will mature and grow up real quick once you have a kid.
Oh, absolutely,
Now,
absolutely.
not saying everybody falls into that boat, but most people will.
Oh, so I knew somebody back in high school, and he had a kid like shortly thereafter high school. And he was one of the biggest goofballs in the world. He was a big, like, I mean, I would call him an addict, but big into drugs and all that stuff. And the moment his kid came, completely like a 180. I've never seen a shift in somebody so quickly. Dropped the drugs, dropped the booze, went to work, did everything he had to make sure that his kid was taken care of. And it was again like almost like a transformation overnight kind of thing. It was wild to witness. Um, yeah, it's amazing what a kid can do for people.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So, what's one of your biggest fears that keeps you up at night?
Something happening to one of those two kids.
Yeah, yep. I'm right there with you. It's one of those that one of the most proud and happy moments in my life, and one of the most terrifying moments in my life, is when my eldest came into the world. It was again like you got that laser focus, but again, it's like, okay, like there's so many things now I got to worry about more than just myself, kind of thing. And if anything, I've got to put myself
Right.
on the back burner. So, do you own any pets?
I got a dog and a cat running around here.
Oh, really? What kind of dog?
Yeah. They wanted to say she was a pity, but I'm gonna tell you now, she's more English bulldog than anything.
Okay. And what kind of cat?
That's a good dang question. My daughter brought the cat home one day, and well, it's never left.
Gotcha. So, do you tend to watch YouTube or do anything along those lines?
Every once in a while, it's got to be something that really interests me.
Okay. And who are some of your favorite creators there on YouTube? Not necessarily within the farm sim community, just in general.
I really don't have any that I truly follow ritually. Like I said, it's just it catches my eye. I might open it up and take a look at it.
Okay, so you're more of like a casual scroller kind of thing. Like, okay, let's see if
Right.
there's something that
Right.
kind of catches your eye.
Yep.
Okay. What would you say the one of those kind of topics would be that would kind of catch your eye?
Uh, anything that pertaining to like upcoming games, things like that. Just anything tech related, basically.
Okay. Now you mentioned earlier that you were a manager over at GameStop, right?
Yeah, that was well over 10 years ago.
Okay. And how was that job? That was one of those kind of jobs that when I was in my younger days, I'd be like, oh man, that'd be amazing, be able to be around video games all day, talk about video games and all that stuff. Did it kind of like live up to the hype?
Well, yes and no. When you look at it from everybody outside of GameStop is like, man, it's gonna be the best job you could ever have, but they don't realize there's still a business side to everything,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to work within the business. You you're not just there to play games, which is what everybody thinks you do to all day when you work there. That's not how it is, unfortunately.
No,
It
no.
would have been great if that's what the case, but no.
What would you say was one of your more uh, like common interactions when you were there at the store and having to deal with customers and whatnot? What was like kind of the everyday kind of thing?
Just most of it was everybody was just wanting to talk about what was up and coming, all the new games, stuff like that. The things that we had the most fun with was when we did midnight releases, because we would hold Madden tournaments, NBA tournaments, Mortal Kombat tournament, all kinds of tournaments. And then when we had GTA 5 release, we did a rap battle on that for that. We let people just duke it out, rap battle. It was fantastic.
So it was just like right there in the store or like in the parking lot?
Yeah, in the store.
Wow.
Because I was
Okay.
actually yeah, at the time I was doing DJing for karaoke and things like that. So I brought all of my equipment in there and we used that for the sound system and all that.
That's awesome. Oh man. See that those would be the experiences like you said, yeah, there's always going to be that, other side of the coin kind of thing to where it's a business, so you got to treat it as such. But being able to do things like that, I mean, that would make it kind of, special kind of thing. And I could see, especially if it was a
Yep.
game or something like that that you were interested in, getting those customers coming in and finding those kind of like-minded, like, oh, hey, did you hear that the X, Y, and Z game's coming out? It's, oh, yeah, and let me tell you all about it and all that stuff. Is there, were there any games like back in those days that you were like, this is my jam, couldn't wait for it to come out?
There was a lot of those. Skyrim was one. Then just uh, yeah, that was the main one back when I was working there. That was just everybody was ready for that to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
they announced Elder Scrolls 6, and well, we haven't heard anything else since then.
Yeah, no, that was definitely one of those games that just kind of took I mean, really was like taking the world by storm. I remember that one just going far and wide.
Yeah.
And way back in the day, back I was, let me think, I would have been 18, 19, somewhere in that ballpark. I worked for a very small video rental store within my local town there, and they had, like the video game rentals that you could do for the, latest and greatest systems and all that. And it was one of those that there were several people within the town there that were like regulars, and they were the gamers. They were the well-known gamers, and they'd be in there just religiously, just going in, checking out all the new stuff. And I was the one guy that was there who actually knew anything about the games. So they would always schedule me on the weekends to be able to bring in these people to be able to rent out these games, because they always wanted the turnover, because our owner at the time would always sit there and complain about having these video games on his shelf, and they would always take up space. They don't turn around and all that stuff. And it's like you gotta invest in this, because we would talk to him all the time. It's like, look, there's going to be a bigger and bigger market in this. You just gotta sit on it for right now. And he was like, oh, I don't know, like, and he would just sit there and just kind of, I'm thinking about getting rid of them. I'm thinking about just getting rid of them and just making space for more movies and all that. It's like, look, I'm telling you, you just got to give it time. And sure enough, as time was going on and more people were getting into the gaming world in that time, it started blowing up. And he never really came out and said it directly, but from what I understand, he actually said it to the manager, who was like pretty much the long-term person, been there for like 20 plus years in those days. Yeah, it was kind of a satisfying moment. It's like, nah, you really need to calm down there, bud. Might not be your time yet, but it will be. But yeah, no, Skyrim, I remember that big time. That was a big one back in those days. So let
Yeah,
me ask you.
still got the dragon from the collector's edition sitting on my entertainment center above my TV.
Oh man, I almost forgot about that. Wow, that just that unlocked a whole bunch of memories right there. Holy smokes. Yeah, it's funny. So back when I worked at that small video rental store, what would happen is that they would get all the like the games and stuff in the back, and the movies and all that stuff, and we'd always get those kind of like, I forget, like the big, bold editions and all that stuff to like the movies and all that stuff, and always come with like all the kind of extra perks and all that stuff that came with the DVDs or came with the VHSs in those days. It was way back in the day. But they always came with like the little like cards or little additional items besides what it was that they were selling. And they would always let you kind of go through and kind of go through all that extra stuff, because they wouldn't like rent it out with it or anything like that, but they would always just kind of accumulate
Right.
in the back. Did GameStop ever let you do something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, we received a bunch of extra stuff like that, and they just like, here you go. The first PS4 that I got, Sony actually gave that to me just for doing some training on it. They were like, here you go. Then they also gave me a PlayStation Vita for free, which was fantastic, even though the system was complete garbage. But
I was about to say, it's like, oh man, now we're digging way back. Holy smokes.
yeah,
Yeah, the Vita.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, you
Great concept, poorly executed.
yes, yes. It's funny, those like one-off little gaming consoles that have come out in, throughout the years. I'm trying to think of the one off the top of my head that was just the biggest hype, and then just turned out to be the biggest flop. Oh my goodness, why am I blanking on it?
Actually, quite a few of them. Nintendo Virtual Boy.
The Virtual Boy. No, no, no. So it was the Sega. It was something to do with Sega. Was it the Sega CD?
Yeah, that one didn't do anything. Sega Saturn was ahead of its time. That's
So,
why it failed.
yep. Saturn was ahead of its time. Yeah, I think it was the Sega CD, where it was like the first
Yeah,
iteration of like the whole disc concept kind of thing, and
yeah,
it was way overpriced, and it was just kind of ancillary to the actual system itself. The games like were few and far between. Oh, it was just it was an absolute nightmare of a game. I remember my cousin, he
yeah.
actually bought one of those things, and I ended up playing what was it? I think it was called Dragon's Lair.
I think that might have been on it.
It was one of the most awful games. I think it was like second to like ET back in the like old Atari days.
Out of all the Atari games I owned way back in my childhood, ET was not one of them.
Oh,
Thank goodness.
probably saved you some headaches.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if you ever seen any of the old like clips of people playing that game and just how like convoluted it was.
The clips, if you go back and watch them now, they're just comical.
Oh yeah.
It
Yes.
just makes you go, how in the world did this make it into the market?
Well, I mean, so I actually found a video. It was just a couple of weeks ago, as a matter of fact, of somebody actually explaining how that game was supposed to work, like all the mechanics that was involved. And once they kind of explained it, it made sense, like scarily so. But if you didn't have somebody like walking you through how to do it, there's nothing in it that was gonna like how you're gonna be able to get from start to finish as just being the average player. No, there's just not going to happen. It was just one of those
No,
kind
you're
of
absolutely not.
oh. So
The
yeah, no.
the problem with that game, what destroyed that game, it was destroyed before it ever hit the market because they put such a stringent time frame on it.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted it released alongside the movie, and that's what utterly just killed it. They
Yep.
didn't take into account testing or anything like that. They just wanted it out.
Yeah, and that's the real kind of problem when it comes. Really, even nowadays, you'll see these kind of tie-ins to movies or tie-ins to other events that are going on, and you have to sacrifice quality in order to make that deadline. What often ends up happening,
Right.
and it's just, it's one of those like you can see where they're going with it, and you can see that it's got some really good bones to it, but because they basically tripped on their own 2 feet, it turns out to be a flop, and you got nobody to blame but themselves. I mean, look
Yeah.
at what was that game called? It was a huge disaster when it released. 2070 Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. Yeah. Cyberpunk was a huge disaster at launch. Thankfully, they pulled a No Man's Sky and got their act together and rebuilt it.
Mm-hmm. I remember when because I ended up getting a copy of it, but it was like way after the fact kind of thing, and it was genuinely a good game. Like it was one of those like very much worth investing in and actually diving into. But I could only imagine if I was somebody who had bought it right when it first dropped and started playing or wanting to try to play it and was really hyped up about it, and then all of a sudden just nope, not able to do anything about it, not able to play along with it. I'd be furious. I'd want my money back, kind of thing. Uh, I couldn't imagine. Couldn't imagine. So let me ask you this: if you could meet any 3 people, who would they be and why? And we're talking past, present, people who are close to you, people who are like movie stars, whatever the case may be. Who would those 3 people be and why?
Well, let's see. Weird Al for one. I would just love to pick his brain and see where he comes up with the stuff he comes up with because a lot of it's just utterly fantastic. And outside, there's not a whole lot of people I would just actually just want to get out there and meet. 'Cause most time, a lot of the ones that I have met, my fair share of celebrities, and a lot of them are, yeah, I would rather not talk to them ever again. A lot of them, success just go to their head, and it's terrible. And I'm not going to name who they are.
No, I can respect that. Yeah, it's one of those that it's sad, but the whole saying, never meet your idols, it really does hold true. It's one of and
Yeah.
here's the thing is I understand that there's times where hey, you might catch them on a bad day, or you might just they might just be a jerk in real life. Who knows? They might just be so kind of full of their own hot air that that's just who they turn into, kind of thing. But it's one of those that if there's somebody out there that you really 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 like, and for whatever reason probably the best not to actually get to know them and like try to get to know them in real life or actually just run into them kind
Right.
of thing. And on the flip side of that coin, it'd be one of those too where being the celebrity or being like the sports star, whatever the case may be, they might be out and about shopping, trying to get their stuff done, and they might be just generally annoyed because I just want to go and get a gallon of milk, kind of thing, and you just so happen to catch them when they're just trying to get their stuff done, kind of thing. So
Right.
I don't know. It's thinking about it from like both perspectives, but that's also why the saying is true: is just better not to meet them. So what? Well, let me ask you this. You mentioned several times now that you're a Weird Al fan. Have you happened to see his movie from back in the day? Movie name is blanking on me. Was it UHF?
UHF. Yep.
That was it.
I've
Uh,
seen it.
You seen it?
Yeah.
What was your view on that one?
It was entertaining for what it was.
Yes. Yep. For being something that was like, hey, let's just throw Weird Al into a movie, and
Yeah.
it had laughs, and it was, yeah, it was entertaining. But it was one of those like, I'm sure if I were to rewatch it now, being 42 years old, and be like, this is probably kind of stupid, kind of thing. But back when I watched it for the first time,
Right.
I enjoyed it. It was one of those I enjoyed it. But watching it through fresh eyes, maybe not so much. So let me ask you this: what was your first paying job?
I worked at Regal Cinemas, just a movie theater job. Started out in concession, worked my way to selling tickets, and then eventually transferred. Didn't transfer. Left that job, went to another movie theater, and worked in the projection booth for a while. That was a lot of fun.
Oh wow! So you actually like had to sit there and like switch out the reels and all that stuff, or did you like?
Yeah, yeah. Well, believe it or not, the movies back in the day, they came into the theater. They were on 2,000 foot reels. Average movie length would have been like 7 reels. Shortest movies would have been like 5 reels. Titanic was 10 reels, and I'm not going to go into details what it would took to move that thing. That was a beast of a movie to try to move around. And we built those and put them on platters. So there was no changing reels in the middle of the movie. It just ran straight through.
Okay. Because I remember hearing something back in the day where those movies that you did have to switch out, for one reason or another, there was actually a little watermark, and it was up to the person in the booth
Yeah.
to sit there and watch the movie.
Yeah. If you go, yeah, if you were to ever watched a movie that was on film, after each one of those reels that they came in on, you'll see a little circle in the upper right corner. It would just pop on the screen, then go away. You'll see it twice. That's the end of a reel, and that's when the next one would start.
So, so you actually like had to do that portion of the job, like switching them out and actually feeding them like one after the other.
No, no, we attached all of them together onto a platter, and it just ran continuously.
Oh, okay. Okay, I understand now. Okay, so that makes sense. I mean, so you were mainly there to make sure that like one, the movie started on time and made sure nothing kind of disastrous happened while rolling.
Yep.
Okay.
It was always fun when one of the movies slid off the platter mid-movie, mid-showing.
Oh,
That was never. That was more of a headache than anything.
oh yeah, no, I could only imagine like having to like stop the entire movie, having a full theater of people there and just kind of having to deal with that. Like when something like that
Yeah.
happened, what was like the standard protocol? Would you have to like send somebody down there to say, hey, we're something happened, we're fixing it, please be patient?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. You had to send somebody down there and say, hey, we're experiencing some technical difficulties. We'll have it back up and running as soon as possible. And if it took too long, well, give them rain checks, send them home, and then
Yeah.
get it ready for the next showing.
Oh man, I could only imagine that would be. Whew. So you said you started out in concession, you moved up to what was the second one before the projection?
Box office selling tickets.
Selling the tickets and gotcha. Okay. Was there any other job there that you would have liked to have done besides those three, or was that pretty much like?
I eventually made it into management.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Well, that I think is the last question I have for this segment. So let me go ahead and look at the chat here. So big shout out to Dust Bunny. Dust Bunny, thank you so much for gathering these questions up for me and sending them along for the interview. So let's see. We've got first one here from Ken Adlam. Ken, thank you so much for your question. He asks, "What's the story behind Riverbend, the Riverbend Aftermath?"
Well, so just started tinkering with the Riverbend map. I loaded it up into the editor, started deleting a bunch of things on it, and just started leveling out certain parts of the terrain that were just completely useless the way it was set out. And eventually I just ended up building a crater on it. Originally it was going to be like, okay, it's a meteor, maybe it's a volcano, who knows? I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave that up to player interpretation, let them come up with what they want to say happened and kind of go from there. But yeah, the crater just became the staple on it. And then I was like, okay, now let's worry about biomes. I was like, all right, so this area had something drastic happen. So let's just kill it off completely and turn that into the desert, and then transform the northwest corner of the map into the evergreen forest, which is where most of the logging can be done on the map, and kind of retain the northeast side, or I'm sorry, it was the northeast side turned into the evergreen forest. And the northwest side, I kind of retained the basic style of Riverbend with the oak trees and everything like that, and just kind of just rolled with it. And after I started building up the mountain and everything, ended up with that little gaping area where you now find that cargo ship. I was like, when I put that in, it was kind of fantastic. I just was browsing through some of the assets that Giants had, found that thing, imported it in, because what it was labeled as was not what it was. And I was like, oh, I got a spot for this. So I threw it in that little lake that I had up there. I was like, all right, we're just going to leave this in here as a nice surprise for whoever finds it.
That was honestly one of my favorite discoveries on that map. Was I was just going up the little spiral that was leading up to the constructible up there, and all of a sudden I look out at the corner and I'm like, what is that? And I'm just seeing all like the color from the containers and stuff, and I'm like, oh no, that's cool. That's really cool. I got a big chuckle out of that. But
yeah, if you go to that little island that's in that water, there's another little surprise on it. I'm not going to say what it is, but if you've watched some movies back in the day, you'll get an idea.
Ooh, okay. I'll definitely have to double check that one now. Have to re-download the map and see what's what there. But one of the things that I ended up saying during my map tour, when it came to the end of the tour where I was actually giving my opinions and stuff, is the map really reminded me very much of a map from FS22 called Mars the Mission. I believe it was by Superfly. And what I was getting at with that was the kind of concept of taking this platform, which is Farming Simulator, and making something beyond the farming aspect of things, like adding a backstory, adding something that's a little bit layered deep, that is still within the realm of realism. Because we got a couple of those kind of maps that were kind of an exploration or a kind of jumping off of from Farming Simulator. So there was another one called Far From Home, and that one I liked a little bit less than, because it was almost like the Honey I Shrunk the Kids map. you were just in
I remember that. Yeah.
you remember that one. Yeah, it was, you were in the
Yeah.
sandbox and you were just kind of driving around and you're basically looking at, which I thought was an interesting concept, but I enjoyed Mars the Mission more because it's like, okay, this is something that we could actually be doing in, 100 years, 200 years, so on and so forth. Like we could actually be doing something like that, like actually cultivating and harvesting and doing stuff on other planets or on other, rocks out there in the universe kind of thing. So it was just one of those that kind of really kind of, I found very interesting at the time. And your map very much reminded me of that. That kind of like, okay, there was some kind of disaster, and now we have to, kind of rebuild the area, kind of go on living from there. And I was like, that's a really cool idea. It was a really cool concept. So where did you actually like come up with the idea of having the disaster as a kind of a jumping off point?
When I was doing terraforming, once I started building things, I just built that crater, and I was like, because I was originally just going to kind of build just like a mountain there, but then as I started terraforming it and everything, I just left it. I was like, screw it. I got a crater now. We're just going to roll with it, and just went from there.
Okay, so it was almost like a happy accident kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, now see, that's really cool. It's one of those, I love hearing those kind of origin stories from, from pretty much any walk of life, but especially here in game where you kind of get that aha moment when you're sitting there and you're being creative and then all of a sudden just boom, let's run with this. And that's actually really cool to hear. It's like it was not an accident, but it was a just, hey, I just stumbled across this, let's run with it kind of thing. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, we were originally just creating the map just because the group that I play with, we just wanted something new. And I was like, all right, let me go ahead and create a map. And they challenged me. They were like, okay, if this map's good enough, you're publishing it. I was like, okay. I originally had no intentions of publishing it on the Mod Hub. They were like, no. After they saw the first portion of it that I had ready, they're like, no, you're publishing this when you get done.
Peer pressure is is a heck of a thing.
Yeah.
get you to do a lot of things, and most of it's bad, but sometimes it ends up working out in your favor.
Right.
So it's one of those. Were you more or less using Riverbend Springs as kind of a means to just kind of learn and kind of get involved with the kind of creation aspect of things? Or did you have every intention of just starting with Riverbend Springs and kind of doing something with it?
No, I was just using it as a basis to learn off of, because this was my first map I ever made, and I had to literally learn every aspect of what I was doing as I was doing it. A lot of trial and error went into it. Some things worked, some didn't. And eventually I got to where I'm at now.
That is a story I hear all too often on this channel, is that you get the people who are just starting to cut their teeth and get into the whole mod creation or map creation scene, and they're like, I just started one day and just did it kind of thing. And just
Yep.
kind of ran into some roadblocks, and sometimes I was able to work my way through it, other times I had to reach out for help, other times I just had to abandon it kind of thing. So it was just one of those definitely a story I hear all too often. Let's see. So again, Ken, thank you so much for your
A
question.
lot of
Greatly
aspects of
appreciate
it I
it.
did just abandon.
Oh, really? You care to share any of those things that you
Yeah.
were trying?
Well, for one, I wanted to get the North American locomotive on the map. That one, for the life of me, I could not figure it out at the time that I was doing it before release. And guess what? Now I have it in a map that I have on there, but I haven't implemented into an update yet. It was after I submitted this update that I finally figured out and got it working. So that'll be coming, guys.
Now, is that the prefab from who is it? BC Bueller?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I
Yep.
know exactly which one you're talking about. Yeah, that'll be a good integration into the map. And isn't it the one that's like, isn't it like really long? Like it's got a lot of cars to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just if you look behind my image, you'll see behind me at the image, you'll see it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yep. That's yep. So yeah, that's gonna be a good addition to it. That'll be really good. Let's see. And you know what? We got another. Actually, it's a comment from Ken. Says, "Ask BDD about Star Wars: The Holiday Special." Ken,
If he
Ken.
feels about it the way I do, I understand.
Oh, we got another person who has seen the holiday special. I see. Oh, where do we begin with that one? So I've met, I think, one, maybe two other people who've actually seen that video. Have you actually seen it from start to finish?
I can't say that I have.
You haven't, but you're aware of it, and you've at least seen a portion
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am one of those unfortunate souls who have seen the whole thing. Just curiosity, how far did you get into it?
Not very. I turned it off pretty quick. I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Which is wild considering that it had all the original actors, it had all like that had the original director, like everything about it. That see, that is why I'm so nervous about Spaceballs 2.
Right.
Like, can you understand why I'm so like gun shy about?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, no. So absolute train wreck. It is a absolute horrible, horrible, horrible film, and yeah, I'm not surprised as to why it is to this day still extremely hard to find. All right, so Ken, thank you so much for your question and your statement there. Greatly appreciate it. We got some questions here from Dust Bunny. Dust Bunny, thank you so much for your question. She asked, "Where do you see your channel or your content here in the next 5 or 10 years?"
Well, I'm hoping to expand on the map making as well as the just modding various productions and things like that. Looking to start learning how to do more 3D modeling so I can start building my own buildings for the maps. Kind of delve a little deeper into that and kind of, bring things to life the way I want it and not have to rely on the assets of giants or whoever.
Okay, so you're like really looking to like dive headfirst into the whole modding world.
Yep.
So, are you eventually interested in getting into like vehicles and implements, or are you more into like the buildings and the map
Probably
making?
not.
Okay,
Probably going to stick with the buildings and the maps.
gotcha, gotcha. And are there like particular regions that you're more inclined to build than others, like North American maps, things like that, or are you interested in like pretty
It's
much?
gonna Probably going to stick with North American or some type of fantasy map.
Okay, okay, I gotcha. And then Dust Bunny also asks, who is a content creator you've watched when you first started?
Didn't watch any of them, to be honest with you. I just dove into this all on my own with no insights whatsoever.
Oh wow! I mean, it kind of makes sense though because you mentioned that you had experience in other engines such as Unreal and stuff like that. So you're at least
Yep.
familiar with the you know with the whole kind of development process, as
Yeah.
it were. Now, obviously, Unreal and Giants Editor are not the same thing whatsoever, but you're at least able to understand it in theory or a concept kind of thing. So at least you're able to kind of have some sort of starting point. So when you came across
Yeah.
issues and stuff
Exactly.
like that, you mentioned that you had to abandon a few things. How did you overcome those issues? Did you have people that you reached out to, or how were you able to overcome?
I would do a little research online, see if I could find just anything where anybody may have been having the same issue, search the Giants forums for similar topics, things like that. Um, a lot of times I just had to kind of delve into it and just look a little deeper to figure it out. Like when I first put the map on there, they sent it back to me with it was throwing an error for an LUA error or something, and I was like, I have no idea where this is. Eventually, I found out I just had an extra line in my store items XML that I just had to delete. It was calling for something that no longer existed from the base map that I just didn't delete initially, and I was like, "Whoops, my bad."
So my job in real life is to sit there and develop reports in SQL and stuff like that. So I'm familiar with, at least a certain version of coding and stuff. And there is nothing worse than you're just neck deep in code. In your case, it'd be XML, and mine, it'd be the SQL. But you're just, so hyper focused on something. You go to hit execute and nothing happens. It just comes up with an error. And of course, they don't give you any kind of, specifics about that error, like, oh, hey, it's located in this spot, this, line, and all this kind of stuff. At least, the versions that I know, there's like other programs out there that will kind of give you a little bit of a better understanding, but my company being too cheap to do anything about that. But it's one of those where it's so frustrating to find out that, okay, it was this one little, like, either a typo or just a line of code or just something that wasn't exactly labeled 100% right, and that's what was holding you up. And you're sitting there having to go line by line by line trying to figure out,
Oh,
like,
that's
the vague spot that it's located. Ugh. What was that?
yeah. Let's not even get into the typo issues.
Oh.
Capitalization means everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's it. Is you could just simply have one letter, whether it's, cap locked or whatever, just one little thing out of place, and it throws the entire thing out of whack. And I'm not familiar with Giants Editor. I've never, like, done anything with it, so I don't know how well it kind of is responsive to, telling you, like, where to look or what to do, kind of thing. Um, I would imagine not so much.
Yeah, the editor doesn't point you in any directions. It's when you go to run the map or whatever, or run your mod on in the game, you have to take a look back at the log file to determine any errors that are in it.
Oh man, so yeah, I know there's the oh my goodness, I think it's like the developer prompt, so you can actually, like, watch the log as it's loading onto the screen and stuff like that. I just recently installed it onto my machine, just to kind of, have it and see if there's anything that kind of pops up that I, like, may be able to look into. Like, with having the SQL experience, I'm not unfamiliar with how, like, languages work, but it's one of those that, you know I'd probably end up breaking more things than fixing if I were to come across something. It's a perfect example. Are you familiar with, I believe it's Custom Modding's John Deere round baler, with the accumulator? Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah, yeah,
So go ahead.
yeah. I've messed with it a little bit, but yeah, go ahead and discuss what you were about to discuss there.
So it was one of those where I downloaded it when it first came onto the mod hub, and I went to go make some bales with it, and about 5 or 6 bales in, I was out of wrap, kind of thing. So I'm like, huh, that doesn't seem to be right. And I went and refilled it, go make 5 or 6 more bales. Okay, something just is not right. So I decided, in my infinite wisdom, to go into the XML to see what it is I could do about, possibly changing it. And I changed a line of code and went from there being 2 bars of, wrap available, because in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, when you got the baler, it'll tell you, like, these are the consumables that you have, and mine said
Right.
2 originally. I went back in, and somehow it was like umpteen bajillion billion, like, went from 2 to some unrealistic, like, expansive number, and I don't know what I did. I don't know how I did it. So I just deleted it, started over, and it's like, you know what? I'm gonna let the experts at it. I did reach out to a couple of modding friends that I have, and yeah, it was just one of those. By the end of it, I'm like, okay, my head hurts so much just looking at this code. I'm just done.
Right.
Oh my goodness. And then
Yeah,
let's.
that was like when I was converting those silos into multi-fruit. That thing, it kept throwing up an error saying I had to have a bell and pallet trigger on it. I'm like, I don't want a bell or pallet trigger on these, but okay, I'll throw it in there.
Oh man, it's funny how you come across those like little oddities here and there. Like that shouldn't make any sense. Like you said, the bale and pallet trigger. Like why? It's a silo. Why would it have bale and pallet? Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So let's see. Dust Bunny, thank you so much for your questions. I greatly appreciate it. We got another one here for Ken. It says, why such a long train on the map?
You ever been down in the South? Trains we have that run through the area where I'm at are more than probably 5 times longer than that train that's on that map.
Mm-hmm. So Ken is from New Zealand. So I'm not sure how their trains are set up over there, but yeah, no, they get pretty long.
That's fair.
They get pretty long around here.
Yeah.
We don't do anything halfway here in the States.
No.
It's go big or go home. Ken, thank you so much for your question. Greatly appreciate it. We got one from Farmer Donkey. Farmer Donkey, how you doing? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. It says, what is your favorite tractor brand?
Kind of a toss up between Case and New Holland.
Case
Got to
and New
stick
Holland.
with American mades.
Gotcha. All right, Farmer Donkey, thank you so much for your question. We got another one here from, well, not another one. We got one here from Socially Inept Clown Prince. Ask, how many mods will how many mods will I have to download the next time we load up a game?
You'll just have to wait and see, sir.
Oh, that reminded me. So I do a couple of series for my channels, and one of the series I do is with my cousin in real life, and every time, because there's so much gap between the recording of episodes that we do, that I'm sitting there just downloading stuff because I pay attention to what's on the mod hub, and he just kind of comes on whenever he wants to or whenever we have time. And he'll go on and just be on like a download, like, okay, how many are we going to do this time? Okay, here's 200 new mods. Here's, 50 new mods. Like he's like, how do you get and do all these mods? It's like, dude, this is what I do. Like I run a channel dedicated to this stuff. Of course I'm going to have all the latest and greatest mods. He's like, oh, that's fair enough. So again, thank you so much for your questions, and I believe that's all we have at the moment. So let's go ahead and go into segment number 2. It's called Meat and Potatoes, emphasis on potatoes. This is where we're going to get to know you for more of your content rather than who you are personally. So first question I have here, and why is it out of, there we go. So what's the story behind your username?
If you've seen how we play, you would completely understand. We do nothing the way it's meant to be. When we load up trailers and stuff, if it fits, it ships. That's our motto.
I know exactly what you're talking about there. It's one of those that I detest. Even in real life, I detest making multiple trips. So if I'm like at the grocery store and I come home and I have an entire carload of groceries, I will do everything in my power to make one trip from the car to the house. So I'm just like got every single bag just like looped up to my elbow, and like, yeah, it's nuts. So yes, I understand it. And so much so, one of the channel shorts, and a lot of people here will know this one. Again, my cousin and I, the one that we did a series on, we ended up doing a series when Farming Simulator first came out on Riverbend, And I was sitting there and like, okay, we've got all these prefab walls, you know, the really tall prefab walls, and we had one prefabbed wall that we just didn't want to leave behind. So I told him, okay, we're gonna go and grab the high-low, and I think we had a skid steer as well. So he ends up picking up the pallet with the skid steer. I ended up coming up with the high-low and picking him up with it so it could go on top of all the other prefabbed walls that were on that trailer. And I made a short of it and I put it onto the channel there. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. So currently, do you only produce like content for Farm Sim, or do you work on other stuff as well?
Just farm sim right now.
Gotcha.
Haven't
And
really thought too much about branching out yet.
I gotcha. So you had mentioned how you kind of origin storied into the Farm Sim franchise. And it was one of those, it was free one day, and you're like, yeah, okay, why not? It's free kind of thing. Um, One of the things that I've kind of discovered over the, many videos that we've done here for this channel is very oftentimes, more often than not, there tends to be some kind of connection to the whole farming world. You know, whether it's that you grew up on a farm or you grew up in the country or whatever the case may be, there's some kind of connection between the individual playing the game and the game itself. Do you have that kind of connection between whether you grew up out in a rural community, grew up on a farm, uh, are doing farming? You know, is there any sort of connection between your real life and the game life?
No, none whatsoever.
Really? So literally, it was
Yeah,
just one of those
none.
that you tried it out one day and it's like, this is pretty okay game.
Yeah, I was like, well, this. I was like, you know what? This is an excellent time killer. It's relaxing. Just gave me a chance to unwind after work and everything. It was just like, and then after you start doing it, you're just like, once you start playing, you just lose track of time and you just continue to play.
Uh, couldn't agree more. Now, I don't know about you, but yeah, I've belonged into so many different games over the years. So many different games. I've played like the sports games. I played the Grand Theft Autos. You know, the I mentioned earlier the Cyberpunk 2077. You know, so on and so forth. I've been gaming since I was a little kid, and it was one of those where, as I've gotten older, something in me has changed where I get stressed out like very quickly if I'm playing like let's say a Call of Duty or something like that. By the end of the game, I'm just so like amped up that I've got to just turn it off, kind of thing. And I think that was like what was most appealing about Farm Sim itself was that kind of chilled, laid back kind of thing. Do you think that's kind of the same thing for you, or do you not have that kind of same experience?
Well, me, I'm one of those that I will play the more challenging games like Dark Souls and things like that, Elden Ring, and literally beat myself up as I'm trying to figure out how to beat a boss or whatever. I will play those difficult games. That's what I enjoy. And this is just a nice break from those games.
I gotcha. I gotcha. So let me ask you this: what's one thing that you never expected when you started creating content? And some examples I get is the sense of community, any kind of unexpected backlash, anything along those lines. What's one thing that you never expected to happen that did?
I just never actually expected to actually publish any of the mods that I made. Everything I was doing, I was originally planning to just keep them just in house. Never really had any intentions of publishing anything. And well, now that I'm there, just going to keep doing it.
Gotcha, gotcha. So you kind of feel like you kind of got like a taste of like something bigger than what it was you were doing, or what happened that made you like decide that this is something you want to pursue?
Just the amount of fun I had in creating the map. just from start to finish. It was just a lot of fun, and it's just something that I enjoy.
Gotcha, which makes sense based on what you were just saying there, how you like to play those kind of challenging games. You like to kind of, as you said, beat yourself up. That makes sense based on what you were also saying earlier in regards to how you came across challenges when making your map and just kind of, figuring out the next step to be able to get it to work kind of thing. So it kind of, tracks everything there. So up until this point, you've released Riverbend: The Aftermath, and you've released the small version of the fish food making. Correct? Those are the two that you've made up until this point.
Correct.
Okay, and
Right, and then I do have a third one that's currently. I have a third one that is currently pending.
Okay, do you want to let us know what that one is?
So I took all of the modified small productions from Riverbend, the Aftermath, and I have packaged them into one file and have it uploaded. I did make some minor tweaks to it as far as some of the palette spawning areas and things like that. Just kind of restructured that, recentered up where the palettes spawn within the little hashed out areas that they're supposed to be at. Just kind of better aligned everything and then just packaged it all up and posted it up.
I gotcha. And when you are, well, let me ask you this way. So you were basically making like tweaks and stuff to Riverbend, and that's how you're kind of cutting your teeth. If all things were kind of, in alignment, you had all the prerequisite knowledge, you knew exactly what it was that you wanted to do, is there a location in the world that you'd be like, this is something I want to make because I would love to see this place exist here in game? Is there like a real life location you'd love to be able to tackle?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Down here where I'm at, we're in Louisiana, it's all flat. And there's not much out here that just stands out. And I haven't really traveled to anywhere that would be an appropriate farming site that we could put out onto the game. So yeah, it's just something that I just prefer to just kind of just wing it and just play around with the terrain, get something that looks good, and then just develop it from there.
Okay, so one of those where you feel like you're going to be more comfortable in the kind of fantasy development maps rather than having it be, based off of real
Right.
locations. Okay. Okay.
Right.
And let's see. Okay. So what would be one mod if you, again, knowledge not being an issue, like any kind of knowledge restrictions or anything, what's one mod that you would love to be able to tackle, whether it's because you feel like it hasn't been addressed yet in game, or just one of those where you feel like there may be like a hole in the market, kind of thing? Is there anything out there that you would want to develop to be able to kind of fill that gap?
A better road development mod. There's one out there now, but I feel like it's just drastically lacking in what you can actually do with it versus how the actual roads are placed down in game. If they could make one where you could literally paint the roads, that would be fantastic.
Okay, so are you referring to like the like make it to where the AI spline is like built into the map, like being able to add it from the game itself? Is that what you're referring
So,
to?
well, there's mods out there that I think believe it's Courseplay that allows you to customize AI splines and things like that. But no, I'm talking about like where you can, let's say you're redesigning a portion of the map. You bought a bunch of farmland and you wanted to rebuild it and put down your own roads as opposed to just going out there and painting textures on the ground. Let's make it to where we can actually paint roads. Give us better, more of the asphalt style textures aside from what's in the base game. Give us where we can paint the road markings and things like that on there.
I got
Just go more in depth with it.
Okay, so instead of like putting down like the asphalt color, but actually it be like the predefined like road kind of thing. Like it had the lines and
Right.
the I gotcha. Okay. No, that would be
Yeah.
a really good addition. I would definitely welcome that with open arms. So let me ask you this: how long did Riverbend the Aftermath take you to make?
About 5 months start to finish.
Wow, that's actually very impressive considering that that was your first mod. I've heard of other map makers who have, tackled other projects and stuff before in the past, taking over a year for their stuff. So the fact that you're able to finish it in 5 months and this kind of be the learning experience for you too, that's really impressive. And what about the fish food mod? How long did that take you to make?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. So you just had to
Yeah.
like swap around some XML and pretty much it was done.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to swap around some XML, pick out what building I wanted to represent, and then just line everything up in the i3D file for the building to get everything lined up how I wanted it. And then just piece it all together, test it, and make sure it worked.
So that mod in particular, I thoroughly enjoyed as well. Because again, I'm one of those kind of people that I like to analyze and look for gaps, things that are missing. And Kinleg, although I think it's an amazing map, had a huge gap in the fact that it only had the large fish food production available.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's exactly why I made it. 'Cause I went to go, wanted get fish food. I was like, the heck? You either buy it from the store or you have to spend all this money on this large factory. I was like, nah, I'm gonna fix that.
and if anybody's familiar with my channel, especially the Sunday shows that I do for Agribusiness Tonight, you'll see that I'm sitting there and analyzing from a start from scratch kind of perspective. Is that okay? Well, can this save me money? Can this save me file size? Can this save me horsepower? Anything along those lines. So it makes it easier to kind of build up from there because unfortunately Giants really doesn't do well in the fact of we start down here, but everything that we're going to be doing is way up here. So it's going to take so much effort to get up to this point to be able to get things. A perfect example of that is things like cotton. If you want to do cotton harvesting as just a quick example, you know, first thing you need is your seeders, your planters, your means of putting it into the ground, your fertilizer spreaders, all that stuff. You need all those basic equipments, but then eventually you get to the harvesting phase. And the harvesters, even at bare minimum, is almost $500,000 for the square baler and like almost 900,000 for the round baler. How are you ever going to be able to get into that, like, and actually own that thing right off the bat? You can't unless you're borrowing money or anything along those lines. So Giants leaves these huge gaps in the market, and that's why I really enjoyed the fish food mod, is that because that was a huge gap from being able to start out and get into the fish production. And there's still gaps that exist even with that new kind of introductory piece to it, being able to get to aquaculture and things like that. But that's a perfect start, and being able to get people's feet into the door a little bit sooner kind of thing, which, like I said, absolutely love it. So thinking back to Riverbend the Aftermath, what would you say was one of the hardest things to overcome? What was the biggest challenges that you came across and were able to overcome it, but was still the biggest one?
That would just be getting the road system, the getting all the traffic vehicles to behave how I wanted them, get all the vehicles that I wanted in there, then having to get all the AI splines in and make sure all of those worked out. That was that's what ate up a good chunk of the development time, was just getting all of those different splines in because they're all over the map.
So if you could do it all over again, would you still choose Riverbend as your kind of base map, or would you think that you'd be happier with either developing a new map from scratch or using one of the other base maps as your kind of project, like your starting point?
I'm currently working on another map, and that one I actually took the Zelonka map, completely gutted it, removed every building off the map altogether, and started restructuring the entire terrain on there. And I'm kind of got roads laid down, already got a sawmill in place, working on getting a new train system on there. Possibly going to have two train systems if I can get it working. I'll have one that's going to handle grain as well as one that's for all of your logging needs. And you'll be able to sell the logs directly off the train into the sawmill. I already have that set up. So
Ooh.
it's just going to be a fun project. Just going to have to kind of play with it, get everything working. It's a work in progress. I got a little bit I could show today if time permits. Just kind of give you guys just a small insight as to what I've got going on it. Just kind of go from there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely try and check that out. So do you plan on having the kind of theme for your maps continue on? Like, do you plan on, like with Riverbend the Aftermath, you had the devastation of the asteroid, the volcano, whatever the individual kind of comes up with. Do you plan on carrying that kind of theme within each of your maps, or is that just kind of a one-off for that particular map?
Uh, Originally, I was going to do something like that with this one. I was originally going to call it Crater Lake. Then I realized that there was a Crater Lake in previous versions that people have been asking to be brought back. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to confuse people with that. I'm not going to do people wrong by trying to do that. So I kind of changed my direction on it. This one's just going to be a standard map and just kind of roll from there and just see how things develop and modify different portions as needed. Like as I'm putting in the train system, I'm realizing that the terrain layout I have, I'm having to modify to accommodate for the train because you can't have too steep of a slope with the train, or the locomotive's not going to be able to pull all the cars up there or anything like that. You have to take the slope into account. So I've been having to kind of do a lot of modifications there and kind of balance things out and just make it work right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's actually funny that you mentioned that because there was a map back on FS22 called New Lands. Was a really, really good map. I really enjoyed it. I believe it was by Gwendol. And that was one of the issues that would happen with the train system is that if you stop the train, like let's say you saved your save file and then you backed out. Well, when you fire the game back up, all the assets just basically start from zero and then move along from there. Well, the train will have its save point and then try and move along from there. But the problem is that it, and I discovered this on my save file because I was doing a series on it. The train had stopped and saved right in front of a hill. So it's sitting there just trying to chug and chug and chug, but it can't make it up the hill kind of thing. It's got too much weight and all that. So it just sat there and was stuck the entire time of my kind of Let's Play series for it. But I guess that was a very common thing on that particular map. So Gwendol actually changed the terrain ever so slightly to be able to make it to where that wasn't going to happen again. But that was one of those closed looped systems to where it didn't have like an exit point from the map kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, it's funny how you gotta like be conscious of things like that, and can come across those kind of issues even inadvertently. Was there anything that kind of came up on your end when developing Riverbend the Aftermath that you didn't realize you needed to take into account, but then kind of you came up and bit you?
There were a few things, like where it tried to put that train tunnel in. I learned real quick you can't bring the terrain over it, over the tunnel. You have to actually put rocks and stuff like that around it. Because otherwise, if you try to put a tunnel in and put the terrain clips through whatever tunnel you're using. So you have to kind of manipulate the terrain in a way to where you can hide where the terrain is and cover it with rocks or whatever to keep the tunnel hidden.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense. Yeah, it was one of those where I guess I never really thought about it before today, but no, that makes absolute sense because every map that is now kind of running through my head where a train goes into a tunnel or there's some kind of, you know, like tunnel system, there's always like the stone and stuff like that that kind of allows it to happen. There's not actually like going through the ground. So no, you saying that now actually kind of made something click. So, if you
Yep.
had one bit of advice to give to people they were new to the whole modding sphere and you wanted to just be able to pass on a bit of wisdom to them, what would that one bit of advice be?
Get out there and just do it. If you have an interest in it and you want to do it, jump into it head first. Don't look back. Just delve into it. Do your as you come up with problems, do your research. Reach out to the community, Giants Forum. Everybody on there is willing to help out. There, you can also get into the farming simulator Discord. They got a whole mod section for modders helping modders. Just ask your questions. Somebody's going to help you out and get you the answer you need.
Excellent, excellent. Great advice. So, would you consider Farm Sim to be your favorite game? And if no, what would be?
I wouldn't call it my favorite game. I've played way too many games to be able to call it my favorite. I'm still kind of partial to some of the old school Final Fantasies, 6 in particular. That one's by far my all-time favorite. Um, as far as other sims go, I do dabble in like flight sim. Got the whole flight setup that I hook up for that. So yeah, I dabble in a lot of different things. This is just one that I put a lot of time in, and I got great friends that join me on here, and we just cut up and act a bunch of fools and have all kinds of fun with it.
So, tell us one of the kind of most memorable adventures that you had with your group of friends there when kind of horsing around. What's one thing that kind of comes to mind?
So if you go to my Twitch page, there's a video clip on there. Mr. Socially Inept Clown there decided he was in a harvester. I had a tractor with some forks on it. I went to pick it up, just to mess with him. And then he decided he wanted to climb on my tractor. Well, he had super strength on. Well, when you have super strength, all you do is clip onto it. If you're sitting on it and you just point your mouse up just slightly into the air, you just start flying into the air with whatever you're on. So yeah, we went all the way to the roof of the map. It was quite the adventure.
Oh yeah, that I could definitely see that being a hoot. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that sounds like something that me and my friends would do is just get on there and all right guys, let's get on here, let's start farming and no farming happening.
Yeah, no, that's us in a nutshell.
Oh my goodness. Yep, yep, I could see that. So you said you started playing Farm Sim back in FS19, was it?
Yeah,
Okay. And you've made it through every iteration since 19, correct? So 22, 25.
correct. Yeah.
Okay, so thinking back, to your days in 22 and in 19, uh, you were obviously more of a player back in the 22s and 19 eras. What would you say was your favorite map from both 19 and 22?
You see, that's kind of hard for me to call one my absolute favorite because we would jump on a map, we'd just start getting something started, and also we see another map come out, we'd be like, "Oh, let's try that one." And we start a whole nother game. We just dabbled in just about every map that dropped.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we had no problems just testing a map for somebody.
Okay, so really it was just kind of like spend a little bit on one and then it's like, oh hey, let's check this one out and just move along.
Yep.
Okay, okay. And can you say that there was a least favorite out of the bunch that you played?
Yeah, there's a few of them on there. Happened to be a lot of the base game maps because some of them just you wanted to take a trailer through town. Nope, not happening. Yeah, like let's take Huton Pantai on this one here. Yeah, good luck navigating through that city with the trailer. with a
Mhm.
semi trying to haul a bunch of stuff. It just does not happen.
Which is really saying something, considering you got the turning wheel right there in front of you. You've got like the
Yeah.
epitome of control. It's not like somebody like me where I'm using like, joysticks and, the whole 9 yards in that regard. I'm sitting there like I'm driving like a fool because hey, I don't have the precision. But
Right.
oh yeah, no, it's one of those. I genuinely do enjoy Hutan Pantai as a kind of like visual representation of the game. I think it's a very gorgeous map. The problem, like you said, it's that city area, and actually it being a part of the game. Like, it's pretty much impossible, and that's where a good chunk of like the selling points, production points, and stuff are. So it's not like you can avoid that little city area kind of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely has
And
a downfall.
another thing, I wish Giants would go back and redo when they decided to mess up controller steering for vehicles. Because
Mm.
there's a couple patches into 25, they like, yeah, we're gonna adjust steering. Yeah, they just messed that all up.
Oh yeah. Yep. No, I've heard the same thing, and I could only imagine. That's honestly part of the reason why I haven't invested in the whole steering wheel and all that stuff. Is I'd be so afraid that I'd just be getting used to it, and then all of a sudden, just boom, something would happen. It's like, yeah, I'll hold off on spending the extra money at the moment to save my sanity.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You get it, you're never gonna want to go away from it. It makes a world of difference.
And that would be my problem, is that like if they were to tweak something and completely like mess up the controls or something like that and made it to where I was not able to like use it the way that I'd want to, I just want to cry at that point. It's like nope,
Right.
like nope. It's like having to go back to a controller when you've got like all that precision. There's another uh, content creator out there, Doc from FAFO Logging, and this man is an absolute wizard when it comes to like using joysticks when it comes to like actual logging. Like he's an actual logger in real life, and he will get onto the game and he does so much when it comes to actually logging in game. It's scary how good he is. But it's one of those like I could only imagine just being him and just using, because he actually uses like two of those joysticks to be able to function and work in game. I can only imagine like Giants just tweaking just one little thing on there, and then all of a sudden goes from like being an absolute wizard with the woodworking and wood harvesting tools and all that stuff that he uses, to all of a sudden just being like me with the joysticks. I could only imagine. Oh, on one hand it'd be funny, on the other hand I'd want to just be sad for him. So
Right.
let's see. So really, we can establish a map that you would say is above all like your favorite, because you've kind of touched on so many different maps. Um, so it's one of those. Thinking back to the 19s and 22s, is there a map that you can think of that you'd be like, oh man, I'd love to see this one come into the 25s?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, because you got a good variety in 25 right now. Um, Now, I just wish there were more North American maps, because if you look at the ratio of European to North American, it is ridiculously lopsided to the European side. There's like almost 2 to 3 European maps for every North American map. It is absurdly for the difference in numbers there. But I would love to see more of those out there.
Oh, 100%. And it's even worse when you consider like the other regions that are available, like South America. I think they have like six,
Right.
7 total maps.
Yeah,
But
I'm tempted to take one of those maps, just unzip it and take a look at it and see what type of, because I've noticed the ground textures are completely different for those. I've been
yes,
kind of tempted to kind of dabble with that. Just take a look at it and maybe see what I could do with one of those.
hey, that'd be definitely a good starting point to kind of add some additional flair into one of your maps. I think that'd be kind of cool, actually. Um, yeah, it's one of those things too that I was making this comment the other day that even the South American maps, even though there are only like 6, 7, somewhere in that ballpark of their maps, they're all really good. Like I think there's only one of them that I really didn't necessarily care for, but for the most part, they were pretty solid maps. Um, so do you happen to keep up with any of the news that's going forward in FS25? Like knowing any of the upcoming mods, maps, things like that?
Not 100%. I kind of wait, see what drops every day. If I like it, I'll download it, give it a shot.
Okay, so you wouldn't be able to list out a map or something that you're like looking forward to that's been announced coming out.
No, not off the top of my head.
Okay, gotcha. So back when FS25 was being developed and we were kind of getting the slow drip of information about it, we were getting all the kind of features and stuff that we could expect to see for FS25. Were you kind of keeping up with the kind of news and stuff in that regard?
Yeah, I was.
So when those times were coming and we were starting to hear all the kind of features and like new things that we were expecting to see here in FS25, was there a feature that you were most excited over? Such as like there was the fog, the god rays that they were talking about. There was ground deformation, all the new stuff that was coming out for 25. Was there one thing overall that you were most excited for?
The ground deformation, just the environmental changes to it. The ground deformation I was excited for, and then that turned out to be kind of a letdown because I really wanted that to have a more of a drastic effect than what it does. Because it seems like, okay, you can drive over, but you're only going to sink so far, and then on top of that, it's just like it's purely cosmetic. It doesn't affect anything beyond that. Which it would have been nice. Let's say you had a freshly plowed field, you drive over it. It's going to affect that and how that's going to perform when you go to do the next step, but it does not affect it at all.
Okay, so you're not really talking from the like a performance of the vehicle aspect, but actually like the aspect of doing the next job for it. It's like if you were plowing
Right.
it and then you were going to actually plant it, it's not actually affecting it in any sort of significant way.
Right. It just turned out just to be cosmetic, is all it was. And it would have been nice if it would have been more detrimental than what it is. The tornadoes, however, were the biggest letdown out of everything that they added.
So that's one of the things that I was most excited for was the thought process of uh, there being some kind of consequence to your farming operation. I thought that was a really kind of a cool concept that really didn't get executed too well. I don't know if you're familiar with back in FS19, there was the mod Seasons. Are you familiar with that one?
Yes.
So that was by far and away one of my favorite mods from FS19 because of all those little mechanics that were added from that mod. One of the things was like the germination failure or the hay and straw and stuff like that would deteriorate and it would eventually disappear if you left it on the ground, kind of thing. Do you remember all those kind of things?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it made it very interesting to play with that. If you weren't already prepared for those,
yes.
it would definitely be a game changer on you.
Well, so when they were announcing the whole tornadoes, hail, weather events kind of thing, it reminded me of those kind of interactions, those kind of mechanics within seasons in FS19. And I got excited because I'm like, okay, are they going to kind of make this to where there's going to be the potential of you having a bad season? Just something didn't happen, the crop didn't take for whatever reason, then boom, you're devastated and you're on the other side of the season with next to no product to sell, kind of thing. And now you're waiting for the next year and trying to survive, kind of thing. I was really hopeful that, hey, tornado spawned and now it's cut right through the middle of your field and it basically took half your crop away, kind of thing, not like Patchy McGee where, you know, this little thing here and that little thing there, and there's your tornado damage kind of thing. Yeah, like I said, I agree with you. It was one of the biggest, you know, swing and misses in my opinion. So let's see, what was one thing that you really wish was available here in Farming Simulator 25, but isn't?
More variety on crops, because there's a lot of different crops out there that we just don't have. Like if you go into certain regions, there's like here in Louisiana. I mean, yeah, we have rice, we have soybean, cotton, corn. We have basic stuff that everybody has, but we could expect there's so much more out there that they could expand into, because you have like hemp and all this other stuff that's out there that people cultivate and grow for various purposes. Um, and then on top, just even expand more into the animals. Go more in depth on that. Get beyond just the standard cows, chickens, pigs, things like that. Go into some of the more exotic stuff that's kind of localized to different regions. Like down here, we got a huge crawfish farming down here, like catfish farms. Yeah, yes, we got fish farming now, but it's not, it's lacking in a lot for what it should be. The fishing aspect that they added in, come on, we want to catch more than just 3 fish and a bunch of trash. Now, granted, the devs were kind of they were kind of interesting with the way they decided to play some jokes on everybody with the comments when you catch some of the trash. You know, catching a wet floor sign, that was entertaining. I'll give them that. But just expand more. Don't just sit there and be like, okay, this is what we're going to add to it. Pay attention to what your community's asking for, and then go based on that.
Absolutely. No, couldn't agree with you more. So, thinking about your kind of play style, what's your more favorite type of farming to do? Do you prefer to do arables, forestry, grass care? What's your big thing that you like to do?
I'll do more arables and livestock.
Gotcha. And what is your most and least favorite job to do around the farm?
Anything that involves forestry, because most of the forestry equipment, if you don't have the right setup, it is not going to work in your favor.
Gotcha. Now, up until this point, you know, you kind of have a limited content creation sphere at this point. What would you say would be your most memorable moment for your content creation up until this point?
Just getting started. Just once I finally decided to delve into doing what I'm doing with the modding and stuff, that right there, just it's going to stick with me forever.
I gotcha. And you mentioned offline that you really didn't pay too much attention when it comes to like modders' names and stuff like that. So we were kind of discussing the background there. One modder in particular. So this may be a more difficult question for you, but if you can answer it, you know, we'll see how it goes. Is there a modder out there that you, when you see their stuff come onto the mod hub or it becomes available, that you just gotta like immediately snap it up? Like that's like your particular person that you look out for? Is there any, whoop, as I smack my microphone around, is there anybody out there that's like that for you?
Not in particular. Like I said before, when I look at a mod, if it's something that interests me or I think it may benefit me in what I'm trying to accomplish in game, then I'll grab it.
I gotcha. All right. Well, I do believe that's the last question I have for this segment of like normal questions. So, what I wanted to do is give you an opportunity to kind of go into more depth into some of the stuff that you are creating up until this point. Did you want to go ahead and kind of walk us through some of that?
Yeah, I could do that.
Excellent. let's see. So let me make sure that I switch this around because I think we're still sharing the screen grab, correct?
Yeah, the farming sim.
Yes. Okay. Oops. Button everywhere. Okay. There we go. And then I think everybody can see what it is that you're displaying there. So go ahead and walk us through some of the stuff you got there.
So this is on Riverbend, the Aftermath. What I've done is these are the updated production facilities that I have that's currently pending. So right here we got the bakery. You can see it does stack more than just one pallet in there. I have it where it stacks 2 high. Did that with most of them. Right here we have the canned food factory. And every one of these do have drastically increased production cycles as well as capacities. Over here we have the cement factory, which is going to produce your roof tiles, your concrete blocks, your bags of cement, which is what's going to be needed for doing a lot of the constructibles. Then right here, which one is this? Yeah, this is your dairy, where you get your milk, cheese, butter, chocolate, all of that comes from there. And this is your grain mill. You can see on this one right here, we got this thing spawning 12 pallets now. Originally, I think it only spawned like 2, and that was it. And now it's like, no, as much as you use flour, you need to have all the pallets spawn on that one. Then over here, we got our grape processing, where you get your raisins and your grape juice. This is your oil processing. So you have drastically expanded it. And you know, it's also enlarged a lot of the sell points on them for when you bring your materials in, because a lot of those, they were just really tight, hard to get into. You had to get to a very specific spot. Then right here, you got your clothing, your tailor shop, where you get all your clothes manufactured. This is your sugar factory. Now this one here, I expanded this one. You now get 9 pallets of fabric versus the original like 3 that would have shown up on there. This one right here, this one may need a little tweaking because depending on the order that it spawns pallets, sometimes you'll get this that happens. Makes it interesting. Just turn super strength on, pick it up, drop it to the side, then you can grab it with your forklift.
So out of that one, potentially could you have it spawn each material in its own spawn point?
Yes, I could. I would have to create additional points on it. You'll see how that can be done when I show you what I did with the lumber mill on the map that I'm currently working on.
Oh, beauty.
Yeah, because I completely moved all the spawn points out of that for where they were originally and distributed them to a much better location.
Gotcha.
So right here, this is your carpenter, where you get your furniture at. And across over here, I have that fish food factory that I made. This one is currently live. Now, since this one only produces at a rate of 50% of the large facility, I didn't put a lot of pallets on there because it takes almost a month just to get 1 pallet out of it. So I was not going to expand that to have a bunch of different pallets. Now, if I change it around and increase its production, then yes, I will have it spawn more pallets at a time. But keep in mind, you can always set these things to distributing if you don't want to have the pallets spawn and you just want it sent straight to wherever your productions are that you have going on. Now, what I'm about to show you, remember how I mentioned earlier that there was another little secret by that cargo ship?
Oh, yeah.
I want you to tell me if you can figure out what movie this is referencing. So it's down here on this little island.
Oh, is that that's not the TARDIS, is it?
No, you're on the right track, but not quite. It does involve time travel. Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted, yes. Oh man, I haven't watched that in forever.
I figured, you know what? I got a phone booth. I'm gonna throw it out here on this island, just for make things a little entertaining.
That's awesome. What's funny is I think I actually saw that at one point and I was like, there's a phone booth in the middle of nowhere. And I just kind of I guess I just forgot about it.
Right. Yeah, and on your stream yesterday, you were mentioning about how you wish more people would have a lot more land purchasable, like up in here.
Mm-hmm.
But I purposely left this area or where you cannot purchase it because when you spawn vehicles, they spawn all the way from like right about here, all the way across to like right here, and there's 2 rows that they spawn. So you get
Gotcha.
a lot of output for vehicles. And then when you do have a lot of vehicles as well as pallets and things that you're spawning, you want to have room to be able to maneuver forklifts or whatever to load them onto trailers. So that's why I left this area completely open. So that way you can have a little staging area so you can get things set up. Now, this is the update that is not live yet. This is what I've been working on. I did notice that after I published this, the water trigger, the icon right here,
Mm-hmm.
was actually around the corner. It was actually like right here. So I went ahead and rotated that to kind of get it in a kind of a better location. But keep in mind, this water trigger extends all the way over to the edge of the road right here. So you can be anywhere around this thing to fill up with water. You don't have to get right up on the fence. You just have to get kind of close to it.
Excellent. Now, out of
Sure
curiosity,
where
is that
the
a
train is right now.
out of curiosity, is that a free fill point or is it charge you?
No, it does charge you, unfortunately.
Okay. I was
Yeah,
just
they
curious.
have plenty of free options that you can put onto your farm. I was like, you're going to get city water, you're going to pay for city water.
Makes sense. Well, especially in like the aftermath of this, where that would make even more sense that an area that has been devastated by some kind of natural disaster, you're not going to be able to just very readily and easily be able to get those supplies in. So you're going to have to kind of pay, quote unquote, pay the premium.
Right. Well, since we're waiting on a train, take a look at. So up here, you had mentioned before. Now, as you can see, several months have passed since I started this game. We're already into March on here, but that the AI has not cultivated every field yet and got them growing. Because I put every one of these fields up here either in a cultivated state or I switched them to where the crops were withered
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to get rid of to make this area look more like just completely abandoned and dead. Another complaint I've had from a lot of people is they're wanting to purchase the land around this crater right here.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be making. I'm going to get a lot of hate from this, but I will not be making this purchasable. Think of this more as a preserve, where that. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever been to Mount St. Helens or anything like that, but that whole area over there is now like a nature wildlife preserve, and um, you can't even as much as pick up and take a rock off of the site. So kind of think of it like that. It's meant to be like a reminder of what happened. Now you could still cultivate. You could purchase and work this field. You get a little bit of land around the field. Like I was able to put a house down on one iteration of it right in here. So you can still be able to do a little bit here. You can change this into a bunch of buildings or whatever. Just keep in mind you will have to navigate this chasm here to get in there. See, there's the train. See, there's a North American locomotive now.
That's cool. That's really cool.
And I could actually choose from any of the brands that you see on the cars for the locomotive.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure which one I'm going to put as the final on here. Um, it's probably going to be either Union Pacific or CPKC, as those are the common rail companies in this area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, no, that's excellent to see. I love the addition of the big train. Just just again, it makes it feel a little bit more real compared to like the
Right.
5 or 6 car that we get from base game.
Yep. And to show y'all the production quantities on these. Like just the saw. This is the small sawmill. It holds 140,000 liters of wood. Outputs 100,000 liters of pulp.
Uh-oh. Oh, can you hear me? Oh, what just happened? Oh. SimGuy, can you hear me? It doesn't appear to be my Ooh, is it my connection? No, it's not my connection. And it's sharing the video, but we lost your voice. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's done. Something just happened with Discord. Oh no, what happened? Let's see. Let's see if you can hear me. Let's try and disconnect and reconnect to the call. Let's give that a try. Let me first let me do this. Okay, let's minimize that. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Give us 1 second here. We're trying to fix whatever happened to Discord. Let's see. Okay. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
Can
there
you
we
hear
go. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
I'm
We
back.
can hear you
Okay,
now.
so let me bring that. Okay. All right, let me. Okay, so where did that cut me off at? Do you remember?
We were all the way back at the we were discussing the train, and then the train just kind of like everything just kind of derailed from there. All right,
Okay, gotcha.
Bring that back up and share that again. There we go. Okay, I think we're back up, everybody.
All right. Yeah. So after I did that, I was just going over the different productions and their capacities to show the drastic increase in their quantities that they have on them. Looks like my stuff just froze up again.
Uh-oh. Oh, we can still hear you. Can Oh, nope. There it goes. All right. I don't know if we're going to be able to share that the rest of that. I don't know what's going on with Discord.
Yeah. I think I just had a video card crash on me.
Oh,
Would love
no.
that. No. It's a software issue, not hardware.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, give me a minute. I gotta exit out whatever. Yeah.
Well,
Okay. Yeah. See what I got going. Okay. Give me a minute.
Sure. Yeah, so in the meantime, I want to thank everybody so very much who came out here tonight, who has, stuck with us throughout these technical issues. And also want to thank all the people out there who have donated to the stream. I did see another one come in from, I believe you said it was Mufa Poofa Throws? Did I pronounce that right? Muffa Puffa?
Yeah, you had it right the first time. Moofa Poofa.
Mufa Poofa. Okay. Mufa Poofa, thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker there. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so very, very much. Yeah, so you gotta love technology. We sit there and we base so much stuff around it, but the moment it doesn't go exactly the way you expect it to, just all chaos gets thrown into. Oh, goodness. Gotta love it. All right, so it looks like it's coming back up on my end.
Yeah, so we're going to transition. So let me know when you got everything loaded up there.
We got everything up on my end.
All right, so this is the map that I'm working on. I'm going to show you guys what I've done with the terrain real quick. Let's see. All right, so this is the overview. You can see I got my start. I start by first just modifying the terrain, getting the hills and everything in place where I want them, and then just get my road system in, the main roads anyway. Because without having that, it's very hard to do anything that you're trying to place down on the map or anything like that. You kind of just have to wing it otherwise. But you can see this right here is the sawmill area. Then I got the train system. You can see right here I had to cut out a lot of terrain for it. And I'm going to end up kind of leveling some of this out. All right, so this is the sawmill area where I got over here. So you're going to be able to, your cell trigger for logs is this entire bridge area right here. So you'll be able to bring your trucks in right here. You can bring the train in here to unload it from either one. The trigger is actually located right here in the middle.
Okay.
And then you remember how all of this in here was all the spawn points for everything? I've kind of removed all of that and I've moved them over here to a wide open area. So each one of these will spawn a different product. You got right here, 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 and here.
Nice.
And then I'm trying to get this working the way I want it. I'm going to have this as a pallet storage. So you can bring your pallets in here and then bring the train over here, load up on the train, and be able to haul it off the map to sell.
Okay.
So I'm kind of turning this into like a logistics center.
Nice. And you
can
said
see
that
right here,
this
I had
was
this
base was Sri Lanka, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing that remains of Sri Lanka is the river. That is it. Everything else is gone. You can see I got some assets here that I'm just waiting to find somewhere to place. Yeah, and you want to see what it takes to put a train in? This whole group right here
Oh wow.
is just the tracks. And you have to place each one individually.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. And I have it running up here and off the map.
See, this is why I couldn't be a map maker or modder. Oh,
And
wow.
I still don't have that. I still don't have that one completely in. I just have it going all the way over to here. And I'm going to eventually bring it across and it's going to exit through this tunnel alongside the road.
Okay.
Yeah, so things like this, see the angle of that? That's why I'm put the tunnel in there, because I'm going to build up the sides here with a hill, put some rocks over top of it just to hide the tunnel itself.
Okay.
Just to give you guys a little insight on how that works. And then as far as the roads go, it's not as simple as you just paint a texture. Each of these is their own plane, as you can see right here. If I can select that one again. There we go. And I built all of these using Blender.
Wow.
They even get the curvatures out there for the intersection. And then let's say I grab this one here. I want you to watch right here in the center. I'm just going to move it down. Whichever one is the highest is the one that's visible. Now, this is a feature that's not available on consoles, as I found out, which is kind of a bummer, because if you want to have consoles, you want your map on console, you can't do this. But if I check this alpha blending, watch this area. It just blends everything together. Now, depending on which material you're blending, some work better than others. Like that right there, that looks kind of terrible. But yeah, consoles does not support the alpha blending, which is where your textures will blend with what's under them.
Okay.
I say like this, if I alpha blend this, see how it fades a little bit? Kind of makes it blend more with the gravel that's underneath the gravel road. Yeah, just small details like that unfortunately consoles do not allow. He said they kicked my mod back so quick when I tried to submit it with the alpha blending when I wanted it on console. I was like, so I had to go in every one of my road textures and remove it.
I wonder why that would be a feature that they would have an issue with.
Consoles only support certain shaders, and that's all involved in the shader.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so like right here, I put that one. I've also took the color of that gravel road and I added just a little bit of red and a little bit of green to it to kind of give it that brownish hue. So it matched more to the gravel underneath it. Originally, it was like the color of this road here that I have selected.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, it just looked bad when you put it down initially. And then a lot of modders I've seen, they'll have to have this contrast luminosity, but they won't ever touch it. And it does, and it looks like that on the edges of the roads.
Mm-hmm.
But just put just a little bit of a negative on it. We'll just point to, and it blends it so nicely.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about anybody else out here, but this is getting me excited for a new map.
Yeah. So what I'm planning to do, so this is going to be like a massive recreational lake. I'm going to put like sailboats and things like that, a bunch of little boats on there, just to kind of dress it up a little. That's going to be a forestry area across the river. And this is going to be forestry over here. I'll probably leave a portion of this like a canyon like that, and then just have a bridge going across with a dirt road and another bridge there just to get over there. I'm also wanting to put another spot over here so you can be able to load the train cars up with the logs that you harvest from the areas. So you can take them down to the lumber mill. Just some ideas that I've been throwing around, just trying to play around with it, see what I can make happen.
Oh, I tell you what, like I said, this is exciting. I really like seeing like this kind of aspect of things and getting to understand the kind of behind the scenes that a good majority of us don't get to see.
Yeah. And the way I did the roads, you see these splines that I have here?
Okay.
So, yeah, what I did, I originally laid out a spline, and then I used a script that I downloaded. I want to say it was from like Farmer Boys or something like that. It's this right here, spline to OBJ. The OBJs are Blender files, and it export that spline into Blender, and then I can go into Blender, and that's where I can do create the plane, get the texture on it, and then array it down and have it conform to the spline. And then I just import it back into the map.
Oh, wow.
Because the method Giants wants you to use, yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Wait, are you saying that Giants want you to do things the hard way?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're wanting you to export your entire terrain into Blender, which will give you a white surface that you can't see where anything is. So let's say you have a specific layout you're wanting for your roads to go. Well, all you're looking at is a white terrain that's just barely shaded for you to use to navigate and lay everything out. I was like, nope, not dealing with that.
Nope. Big bag of nope.
Yep. All right. So we'll go ahead and close this out. There we go.
Let's see. Let's bring that back up. All right. Well, SimGuy, thank you so much for kind of showing that off for us here. And unfortunately, we did have the little hiccup there, but appreciate it nonetheless. That just gave us all kind of an inside look as to some of the things that goes on behind the scenes for anybody who's making mods, maps, and things along those lines. So I do genuinely appreciate that. But like I said, that was the last bit I had for the previous segment. So now we're going to kick it off to the chat once again to get their questions. So I got another one here from Ken Adlam. Ken asks, what's the capacity of the train silo on Riverview, the Aftermath? Just wondering.
On the silo or on the train? That's the real question. The silo, I'm not 100% certain. I could probably have to look into that. I may have to modify it, but I know the train itself will hold well over 2 million liters.
Wow. Gotcha. That's pretty impressive. All right, Ken, thank you so much for your question. We got one here from Farmer Donkey. Says, what tips do you have for someone just starting out on their map beginning journey?
Start with your terrain. Yeah, start with your terrain. Get your terrain the way you want it, and then get your roads, your main roads laid out. Once you do that, then you'll have a better idea of where you want to place your buildings and everything, and save farmlands and all of your vegetation for last.
That makes a lot of sense. Because I would completely tackle it in a completely different manner, which is why, again, I'm not trying to build maps. I would have been like, okay, well, let me place down the placeables here, and let me do this there, and then build everything else around all that, and just, yeah, my brain works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. Another thing, in the scene graph, make sure you group things, because that makes it a whole lot easier to find what you're looking for. Put numbers on things. Don't just have like a bunch of planes with just called plane, or like I do currently with all my splines. But if you notice, I have those splines. They were all broke down based off which road they were assigned to. Make sure you have things grouped like that, because that'll help you whenever you do go to run your debug on it. And when you start finding problems, it'll help you identify where it's at and be able to locate a lot quicker.
No, that makes sense. And then we got one here from Ken. It's more of a statement. Says, I'm not sure about this, but I think that Mr. Sealy P is using your fish food mod on his Kinleg Let's Play. That's pretty cool if that's the case.
That's awesome. Mr. Silly P did an excellent video for my map whenever it released. So yeah, hats off to him. Thank you.
That's awesome. Again, Ken, thank you so much for that one. And Farmer Donkey, thank you so much for your question. We got one more here from Ken. Says, I noticed that there's a lot of area not being utilized in the town. Will there be an update where you can utilize them?
All depends on which areas. Some of it I may allow, but as we stated before, like around the main shop area, that I will not be opening up. But some other areas I may open up some of it. Like I may open up some additional forestry areas that are there just to allow people to be able to clear some of those other trees out.
Gotcha. Again, Ken, thank you so much for your question. And that looks like it is the end of all the questions from the chat. Again, I want to thank everybody so much who came out here tonight, who asked their questions and participated in the show. Greatly appreciate every single one of you. Let me just take one quick look real quick. Let's see. Oh, we actually got one here from Benji. Just came in. It says, question, will the names on the rail cars remain?
Yes.
There we go. Excellent. Well, like I said,
the only way those rail cars are going to change is if Giant sells me to.
Awesome. But like I said, that is the end of that segment. So again, thank you all so very much. Now we're going to go into our third and final segment called That's a Silage Wrap. And nope. Yes. So that's a silage wrap. This is where we're going to start closing things out and bringing this show to a close. InsaneSimGuy, thank you so very much for coming out onto the show tonight. Had an absolute blast with you here tonight.
Appreciate it. It's been a fun time. I'd love to do this again in the future. Just hit me up. Let me know what's going on. And everybody out there in the chat, look, I know you guys have questions or have suggestions you want on a map. Just shoot them to me as a message on Facebook or wherever, and just let me know what you want, and I'll see if I can get it added in there.
Excellent. So outside of the new map that you're making and outside of the now in testing assets that you're bringing into the game, do you have any other future plans and projects?
Nothing at the moment, but I'm sure something will pop up. I'm always looking for something to play around with. Well, there will be some building or something I'll place down, and I'll be like, I don't like this. And then I'll be like, all right, let's fix it.
Gotcha, gotcha. And can you remind us where we can find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, all under InsaneSimGuy.
Awesome. Again, thank you so very much for coming out here tonight. And this is where I turn my sights to the chat and say, did you enjoy this? Did you enjoy the show? If you did, please reach out to me and let me know who you'd like to see on the show going forward. Things have been really crazy here lately in regards to the amount of content that's being pushed out from Giants. So the show has not been as frequent as it has in the past, but hopefully now that Giants is starting to get into their winter break and all that stuff, hoping that things kind of level out here. So we'll start to see more and more of this show kind of pop up as they kind of tone it down. So for those who caught yesterday's Agribusiness Tonight, would have known that over the past 7 days, the past week, there were 27 either map tours or map update videos that I put out over this past week. So just the reason why there hasn't been this show here lately, but I'm so glad that I was able to make it out and work it out here tonight with SimGuy here. So again, thank you so very much. Like I said, if you are interested in seeing somebody on the show, feel free to reach out to me on any of my social medias. It got me on Discord, on Instagram, on Facebook, and also here on YouTube as well. So reach out to me directly. I will do my absolute best to get them onto the show. The only criteria I have is, number one, they have to be connected to Farming Simulator in some way, shape, or form, whether they're a modder, map maker, YouTuber, Twitcher, whatever the case may be, or just having that kind of connection. The other kind of tangential connection would be if they're a farmer in real life, because without farmers, we would have no farm sim. So certainly be willing to talk to somebody who's just a farmer in real life and kind of bring them into the fold. The other criteria I have is they have to be over the age of 18. If they're not over the age of 18, unfortunately, gotta pass on them. There has been a couple of people interested in the past. Turns out they were a bit south of that mark and have had to turn them down. So again, thank you all so very, very much for coming out here tonight. And SimGuy, thank you so very much. As we're signing off here tonight, SimGuy, just hang on until after the outro, and I'll catch you on the other side of it, all right?
Perfect. It's
Excellent.
been a pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so very much. Hope everybody enjoyed it. And if you did, please show them by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things. The algorithms enjoy you doing. The shows you're engaged with this channel and enjoying the content. And that being said, I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Take care.
This is Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Let's roll. Out here in the country, where the roads run wide, there's a world behind the pixels that we're bringing to the light. From maps to mods, to the rigs we drive, we're talking to the folks who keep this farm life alive. It's Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Come pull up a chair and ride along with me. Stories from the makers Come pull